All right, so it's officially happening. PSA just hit the panic button and let everybody know in the card world that they're pausing value submissions. So why is this happening? Well, they just released their numbers and they have a 10 million submission backlog. They're sitting on 10 million cards right now that haven't been graded, and so they don't know what to do. Their hands are tied. Why are they sitting on so much product? That's a question that we might need to ask. And then we also got to ask ourselves, when are they going to start taking submissions again? Well, PSA said in a letter that they just put out that they're not putting any date on when they're going to start accepting submissions again. We do know that officially they're going to stop submissions on June 2nd, but they're not putting out a date on when they're going to start back. But what they're also saying is that they just have a goal. And if they hit their goal, they'll reopen submissions. Well, their goal is to cut the submission backlog in half to 5 million submissions. Well, if they cut it in half to 5 million, I mean, what is that? What does all of this do to the cards that have already been submitted? How does that affect the timelines? Well, we already know that recently, if you're submitting anything with PSA, they say, 45 days, you'll get your cards back. 60 days, you'll get your cards back. If you pay an extra $25, we'll rush it to you. Yeah, well, we know that's not true. I submitted cards months ago. It took 4 months for me to get them back, and I paid for the upgrade, and it still took way longer than the 45 days. I think it took me 65 or 70 days to get my cards back, and that's with a paid upgrade. So their time limits were already taken long. They got a 10 million backlog. If you've sent cards in recently, which I have, I send cards all the time. I'm not expecting to get my cards back for 5 or 6 months. I mean, with a backlog that big and you're at the back of the line if you just sent something out. So also you got to think about this. They're saying, hey, we're stopping submissions on June 2nd. What do you think is going to happen between today and June 2nd? Everybody and their brother is going to be trying to put submissions in so that way they can hurry up and get them in before they stop taking submissions. So what's that going to do? There will be, if I had to guess, there will be millions of submissions between now and June 2nd. Millions. Only going to further increase their backlog. They're already at 10. So if they go from 10 to 12 million, let's say, so 12 million is what we're looking at. It could be months. It could be 4 to 6 months before they hit their goal of 5 million, especially with the extra that's going to be tagged on because between now and the second. So whenever you think about that, let's look at my notes. Here's a couple things that I want to address. So what is this going to do to the Pokemon market? A lot of people seem to think that, that Pokemon already is in a bubble and that bubble's going to pop sometime soon. And some people are now saying, based on this news, that PSA could be the needle that pops this Pokemon bubble. Do you believe so? What do I think? I'm not so sure. I want to see how it plays out, but this is what I think. I think that right now in Pokemon, there are so many rip and shippers, mystery bags, online rips that have slabs in them. You got whatnot streamers that are dealing exclusively in slabs, and they're doing hundreds of them a night. You look at these larger companies online, these rip companies that are doing the mystery stuff. You got Courtyard.io, you've got Galaxy Grails, you got all these big players, you got these mid players, and then you have these single entrepreneur influencers that are doing it online. Some of these guys, even the low players. So let me break down to you how this slab business works and how it affects Pokemon. You have low level guys. Let's just say a guy like me, a single influencer, and all he does is whatnot stream slabs, and he might stream on YouTube and have a couple ways that he sells some of this stuff. A low-level guy that's running a full-time slab operation, these guys can be literally getting 1,000, 2,000 cards graded per month. Now think about that. That might sound a lot to me and you. But whenever you base your entire business model off of it, it's really not that much. I mean, you have to turn over these submissions on a regular basis in order for you to continue to make money every single day. Well, then you climb up the ladder and you look at these, a little bit larger operations. Maybe these guys have a website. Maybe they are a group of guys. Maybe it's a card shop. Maybe it's whatever. But they're dealing mostly in slabs. Some of these guys, they could be getting 5,000 or 10,000 slabs cards graded per month. I don't know if you guys follow Rudy from Alpha Investments, but he just talked the other day about how he was at a Collecticon, I believe it was in Florida, and that he has his own grading service. It's called PCG, Premium Card Grading, PCG. He said he had people coming up to him at the card show and asking, hey, what kind of deal can you make me if I submit 5,000 cards a month to you? What kind of deal can you make me on submissions? Also asking him, hey, he said he had other people come asking him 10,000. What's it going to cost for me to get 10,000 submissions per month? I mean, guys, one card show, multiple people asking 5,000, 10,000 a month. These are just like mid-tier guys. When you look at these higher companies, bigger companies that are doing it, they could be doing upwards of 30, 40, 50,000 submissions a month. And what happens with your business model when all of a sudden that gets put on hold and you've built your entire business model on the back of selling slabs? Well, you have to think about it like this. So with these slab guys, what they're doing is they're staggering their submissions, right? So let's just say as a low-level guy, I send off 100 cards to get graded. And my intention is to sell them on a stream. Well, I sent off 100 cards to get graded. I get those cards back. While I have those cards back, I sent off another 100 to get graded. So that way, whenever I finish selling the 100 that I have, I should be getting another order coming in of my other 100 that I just sent out. So on and so forth. So you have some that you're selling, some that are getting graded, and you always have stuff getting graded. Well, what happens whenever that's being placed on a giant pause? How does that affect the Pokemon market? Some people are saying, well, it's going to cause slab prices to go sky high. Is it? Is it going to cause slab prices to go sky high? I think it will in the interim, because as you guys all know, that when you have supply and demand and the supply is really, really low and the demand is really, really high, prices go up. We're seeing it all across Pokemon right now, especially with Pokemon just releasing their numbers on their print numbers. The print numbers for this year is dramatically lower than the print numbers for last year, but the demand for Pokemon this year is so much higher than it has ever been. So prices are shooting through the roof. Ascended's going through the roof, 151's going through the roof. So prices are high. So you might think, okay, well, once we change this, once this PSA stops taking submissions, it's just going to increase the prices of slabs because it's going to be harder for people to get them. Yeah, I think it will in the short term, but I think it's going to have something different is going to happen whenever you look at it from a long-term perspective, because a lot of these low-level guys and even these mid-level guys, they're not sitting on enough inventory and enough product that they can sustain a 6 month, 9 month, 12-month submission restriction where they can't send anything to PSA. They don't have enough product sitting on hand to be able to withstand that. They have bills. They got overhead, online subscriptions. They've got shipping. They've got, it takes money to run all of this stuff. It takes money to run the operation. What if they have employees, back-end employees that are fulfilling orders? Employees that are working on their website, employees that are working on, whenever you think about even these low-level operations, they have overhead. And if they've built their entire business on the back of slabs, even a 3-month interruption of that can be catastrophic. So what's likely to happen, in my opinion, is I believe a lot of these low-level guys are going to get shaken out. They're going to get screwed so hard by not being able to submit cards that they're going to have to shut their businesses down. Now think about this too. Not only do they have overhead, not only do they need product to sell, and that's a problem. And now I don't know how to pay Johnny, who works on my back end and ships all my stuff, and I don't know how to pay Timmy, who works on the website, and I don't know how to. A lot of these guys are running their businesses off of credit cards, home equity loan on their house. Hey, I'm going to get a home equity loan on my house, and so that way I can put $50,000 into a Pokemon business because it seems to be going really good right now. Never thinking about the possibility that PSA could stop submissions. Okay. Well, when you've got all this money that has to go out, and you got a mortgage payment that you got to pay, a loan payment that you got to pay, you got credit card payments that you got to pay, no products coming in, you're not sitting on 3 to 6 months worth of inventory. Yeah, that's going to cause you to have to shut down your business. So what happens whenever all these people start to shake out and they start to shut their business down? Well, are they going to leave the hobby for good? Are they going to decide that they're just completely out of Pokemon, and that's going to drive the demand down just because there's going to be a lot of people losing their rear end that are just going to be like, you know what, I'm done with Pokemon altogether? I don't think so, because I think it's the consumer mainly that is keeping the Pokemon demand so high. I don't think it's 100%. I don't think it's a overwhelmingly large percentage of people keeping Pokemon alive that are, rippers and shippers and stuff like that. Yeah, they're adding to it, but you have to have people that want this product in order for these businesses to even exist in the first place, and those are the people that are keeping this alive. And so, but then what's another solution? They're like, oh, well, PSA is shutting submissions down. I can just start moving to another grading service. Okay, yeah, you can move to another grading service, but guess what? Tag already shut down their value submissions. So you're not going to be sending your stuff to Tag. Your only options are CGC, Beckett, and PCG. Rudy from Alpha Investments card grading service. Well, that also changes the value of the cards, right? Because everybody knows that you want the red label. You want the red label because if you get a red PSA label, then you can get the maximum dollar amount for your card. PSA, it's got the name. That's what people want to go with. Well, whenever you think about that and you're like, okay, well now I can shift everything over to CGC temporarily, but now all of your sales are going down. It's going to squeeze your margins on everything. You've already built your whole entire business model off of these margins. Now your margins are going to go down because the cost of your cards are, the value of your cards are going to go down from submission. Or will they? That's a question that I've been asking myself is, okay, well, let's run through this. If you send all of your cards and you start sending them, or let's, hold on, back up. If hundreds of these slab companies and these slab individuals, let's say, start sending all of their cards to another grading service like CGC. Well, CGC is going to experience an influx in grading. Big question is, can they handle a big influx in grading? Probably for a little while. But they're going to accumulate a bunch of new customers. Is that going to cause a lot of people, once they start going through CGC and they start having a different customer experience, they start getting cards back quicker, and we already know that the CGC slabs look a lot better than PSA. I'm sorry, I'm just saying it. They look much better. They look sexy. That's what I'm gonna say. What if they say, hey, you know what? I've been liking my experience with CGC, so I'm not going back to PSA. Ooh, didn't think about that. Is PSA thinking about that? How many customers are going to leave PSA, try out these other grading services, not go back to PSA, and now you have other companies, CGC, Beckett, so on and so forth, that start gaining a larger market share, pushing PSA's market share down, and then before you know it, you could start seeing the values for a CGC 10 be equal to or close to the value of a PSA 10. You can start seeing that happen because the amount of cards that are being graded through their system, the amount of people using them is going up. They've gained more market share. You gain more market share, and you become a more valuable asset. These are just my thoughts, guys. This is what I'm wondering. Is PSA going to lose customers? What is this going to do to the Pokemon market overall? I don't think it's going to pop the Pokemon bubble. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a unique opportunity for everybody that's investing. There's going to be a hole in the market for a time period, and I think it's going to be a unique time for a lot of people to stay strong, stay patient, stay steadfast, stay in, keep buying, keep being involved, and I think we'll be rewarded for it long term. There's going to be people jumping out, and hey, when people are jumping out, you stay in, you jump in, and you double down. And that's what I think the play is right now. I think that's what we should be doing. But I want to hear what you guys are planning to do with your own submissions. Are you going to wait for PSA to get their stuff together? And, hey, I'm a PSA diehard, and I'm going to, PSA for life. Is that you? Or are you like, hey, you know what? I don't mind the 10, 20, 30% difference in value of cards. I'll start submitting my stuff through CGC. I do like the way that the slabs look, or at least this is an excuse for you to try a new grading service. Maybe you've never even tried a new grading service before, and you're like, hey, well, now I have to, so I may as well, and you start grading. So I want to know in the comments below, what do you guys think is going to happen? What do you think this is going to do to the Pokemon market? And what are you going to do with your submissions moving forward? Poketherare, out.